What would you do if money wasn't a problem? It sounds like a simple question, almost like one of those fun what-if conversations you have with friends late at night. But if you really sit with it, no distractions, no quick answers, it becomes something deeper. Because the moment money disappears from the equation, so do a lot of excuses. Suddenly, you're left with just yourself, your desires, your fears, and your truth. So let's take a second and really think about it. At first, most people imagine the obvious things: a big house, maybe near the mountains or the ocean, traveling the world, ticking off destinations one by one, buying whatever you want without checking the price tag. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those dreams are valid. But here's the interesting part. After a while, those things start to feel normal. The excitement fades, and then the question comes back, a little louder this time. What now? Because deep down, what people really want isn't just comfort, it's meaning. If money wasn't a problem, you wouldn't just chase luxury, you'd start chasing fulfillment. Maybe you'd finally pursue that passion you've been putting off, the one you keep saying you'll start someday. Writing, music, art, building something of your own. Not because it pays, but because it feels like you. And that's a powerful shift. Doing something not for survival, but for expression. You might also notice something else. Without financial pressure, your choices would become more honest. A lot of decisions we make today are influenced by money: what career we choose, where we live, even how we spend our time. But if money wasn't a factor, would you still be doing what you're doing right now? That's not an easy question. And honestly, it's a little uncomfortable. But it's also where clarity begins. Some people realize they'd spend more time with family. Not rushed, distracted time, but real presence, sitting together, talking, laughing, creating memories. Others might choose to help people, start something meaningful, support causes they care about, or simply be there for others without worrying about their own survival. Because when your basic needs are taken care of, you start thinking beyond yourself. And then there's growth. If money wasn't a problem, you'd have the freedom to explore who you really are. You could try new things without fear of failure, learn skills just because they interest you, take risks, change directions, start over if needed. Failure wouldn't feel like the end, it would just be part of the journey. That kind of freedom is rare, but it's also something people deeply crave. But here's the twist. This question isn't really about money, it's about priorities. Because while money does limit certain choices, it doesn't control all of them. There are small parts of that money-free life you can start living even now. Maybe you can't quit everything and travel the world, but you can carve out time for what matters. Maybe you can't remove all pressure, but you can make more intentional decisions. So instead of treating this question like a fantasy, what if you treated it like a guide, a way to understand what truly matters to you? Because your answer reveals more than your dreams. It reveals your values. It shows you what you've been ignoring, what you've been postponing, and what you actually want your life to feel like. And maybe the goal isn't to reach a point where money is no longer a problem. Maybe the real goal is to build a life where money isn't the only reason you're making decisions. A life where, even within your current reality, you're moving a little closer to what feels right. So I'll ask you again. What would you do if money wasn't a problem? And, more importantly, what's stopping you from doing at least a small part of that today? Because if you keep sitting with it, something subtle starts to happen. The answers stop being loud and flashy and become quieter, more honest. You stop saying, "I want a mansion," and start asking, "Who do I want to wake up next to?" You stop saying, "I want to travel everywhere," and start asking, "What kind of moments do I want to experience?" You stop saying, "I want success," and start asking, "What does a good day actually feel like to me?" And that's where things get real. Because most people aren't actually chasing money, they're chasing the feeling they think money will give them. Freedom, respect, security, options, peace of mind. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't know how to create those feelings in small ways right now, money won't magically teach you later. It will just amplify who you already are. So the question evolves again. Not what would I do, but who would I become? Would you be someone disciplined or someone lost without structure? Would you be curious and creative or distracted and constantly chasing the next high? Would you build something meaningful or just consume endlessly? Because when survival pressure disappears, character gets exposed. And here's something most people don't like to admit. A lot of us delay becoming our real selves. We say things like, I'll start when I have time. I'll focus on that after exams. I'll take that risk once I'm financially stable. But sometimes that's just fear wearing a logical mask. Not all limitations are real. Some are just comfortable excuses. Now be honest with yourself. Brutally honest. If money wasn't a problem, would you still procrastinate on the things you say matter? Avoid difficult conversations? Hesitate to start something because you might fail? Because if the answer is yes, then money isn't the real barrier. Mindset is.